Today's podcast is brought to you by us because we're
I
here.
was like, wow, are we sponsored? That's neat. I didn't even know.
By us.
Yep. So you're going to get what you pay for, folks, and nothing more. Sorry.
Pretty much.
Busy day yesterday, Brad?
Yeah, a little busy day, Paul. How was your morning? Busy? Sleepy?
It was busy, actually. I did watch part of it. I wasn't able to catch the beginning, unfortunately. But I watched the one about Teams devices. I thought was really good. And then there was a guy talking about just kind of the new work, and all the changes and stuff. I just kind of left it on. I thought it was interesting.
For those not familiar,
Right. We should probably explain what we're talking about.
We had a big virtual conference on the Petri side of the house yesterday. It went really well. I haven't looked at all the numbers yet, but at least 1,000 people were watching throughout the day. So, and that's probably on the cautious side. So,
yeah, good.
It's a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, no, it seemed good.
Yeah,
I wanted to heckle Todd, but I didn't get there in time. I'll just heckle him on Twitter like usual. But
yeah, I mean, that's probably the best place to do it. Although I took the opportunity as well. So
I think we should agree going forward. We all refer to him as the Todd.
Oh yes, but not the Todd father, because that would imply that he would.
Father. Oh boy, Todd of duty.
Todd.
No wait, that doesn't make any sense. I'm a little.
Anyways, jumping back in time here, Amazon going after the Jedi contract again. This is going to be.
I gotta say, I think this contract's going to be voided.
I would not surprise me.
I really do. And without look, there are all kinds of things were said. Amazon at the time claimed that they had the better bid and were better able to make this transition for the government or whatever. I have no, anything to say about that. I think the one big advantage that Microsoft has, frankly, over Amazon is the Microsoft 365 stuff, which actually should factor into this because they're transitioning from these old systems to something new. And part of the modernization, I think, would be the stuff that people actually use. But whatever. I also, understanding this is kind of a nuanced discussion. There's an argument to be made against a single vendor contract of this magnitude for the U.S. government. And by the way, this is happening at a time when the U.S. government has been complaining about Chinese firms being owned by the government and will do their dirty work for them if requested. I mean, what is the implicit understanding between a U.S. technology firm and the U.S. government when they're the only vendor selected for a multi-billion-dollar contract? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just throwing out some ideas. I don't know. I'm not educated in this area. But just from a many miles distance view, it's like, well, maybe this should have been a multi-vendor thing. And, Microsoft could handle the client side stuff and Amazon handles the back end stuff, or there's some combination of back end services, which by the way, very common in cloud computing. I don't know. But anyway, my gut feeling all of a sudden here is, this might change,
Yeah. In Redmond right now, anybody who's working on this contract is billing as many hours as humanly possible, I can guarantee, because technically Microsoft is already working on it and doing whatever. And so they've got budget allocated and,
Right. It's interesting. It's a big one.
It is a big one. There's also a big update for the Xboxes, sort of. Just a bunch of updates. Little stuff.
Yeah,
actually.
I don't know why. We've gone from Xbox month name update used to mean this is the dashboard update for the console. That's what it used to mean. So one of the weird things now is because Xbox is obviously on PC, it's on mobile, it's streaming over the cloud. They still release these things that they call Xbox, in this case, May update, and it some of it goes to Xbox One, some of it goes to Xbox Series X and S, some of it goes to the Xbox app on mobile, some of it goes to the Xbox Family Sharing app on mobile. Yep. In this case, and some other months, sometimes the PC app will be impacted. There's other ways that you could hit all of the little entry points, I guess. But I think we need to start thinking about this a little differently. So that's why I put a little parenthetical S on the end there, because it's really a bunch of separate
like
updates across platforms.
Ecosystem, if you will, or something like that. Because
Yeah.
there's Xbox is, to your point, not just that box that sits under the TV anymore.
Oh, speaking of which, I didn't intend to talk about this, but I've had this thing in the back of my head. I keep thinking of it at the wrong times. Like
2 a.m.
no, like I'm driving home from North Carolina, or I'm literally in a hotel room in North Carolina. I'm like, oh, I wish I had brought this thing, and I didn't. And what I'm talking about is, I don't know, a week or two ago, I went and tried xCloud with a controller on, I guess it was the PC, and tried it wired and wireless, and was really unimpressed with the latency. Like it was like an action game like Fortnite, you don't even bother.
No,
and then
it's not
like
you can't.
Even like light movement type games like that Walking Dead game I mentioned, completely unplayable. Confused by this, I then used the Xbox controller with Stadia, and it worked great. Like it worked great. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then in the back of my head, I kind of meant to continue down this vein, if you will. And the thing I wanted to try was using the new Xbox controller, like the type you would get with an X or an S, with the iPad Air that I bought a couple months ago, but playing like a native mobile game. So last night I don't know if you've ever done this. I installed Call of Duty Mobile, which is a big game. It takes a long time to install. And then once you get inside, it does a bunch of stuff. Like it takes minutes, like many minutes to get into the game. But if you intend to play multiplayer, you really need to go. You'll see eventually there's 1,000 things on the screen, but there's like a little download icon in the corner. When you go to it, you'll see a list of the maps. And Call of Duty Mobile, for those who don't know, has like a glorious collection of classic Call of Duty maps, and it's kind of the thing I've been asking for a long time. Anyway, I downloaded all the maps. And the first time I played multiplayer, I was convinced I was playing against bots because I kept like having the high score by a factor of 10, like it was not even close. But over time, I realized like actually there are people in here, and I'm a little confused about what I was doing, but because it's it's not like I'm chatting with anyone or anything. But this game is actually really good with a controller, dude. Like a big enough screen, Xbox controller, wireless. The play mechanics are a little weird if you've ever played any game. Like if you're running around Fortnite by yourself, you can sort of arbitrarily run around and shoot your gun at nothing if you want to. In Call of Duty, in the games I play, multiplayer, it's the hardcore style, and so I could kill people on my own team a certain number of times and then I get booted. But I mean, this game, you can't fire your weapon unless it's aimed at an enemy, and it must be an artifact of the normal touch-based controls because maybe it's too easy to fire by mistake or something, or you can hold your finger down on the fire button and it only fires when you're pointing at something. Maybe there's a setting I can change. I don't know. But aside from that little weirdism, it was really good. Like it was really good. Like I enjoyed seeing these maps again. I think it's called Crossroads. It's a classic, probably called Modern Warfare 1 game, if I'm not mistaken, the original Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4, I think. If not, it was 2. But it's like these things come on and you're like, oh man, that's awesome. Like they look awesome. Like that's really good. So I sold my console and
just chucked it in the front yard.
I mean, it's interesting. Like that's pretty cool. So
great,
kind of random. I spent time, like it was one of those things I just meant to kind of check it out, and then I played for like an hour. Like I was like, I actually really enjoy this. That is, I mean, well, the Walking Dead game, that same game I had played on iPad whenever it first came out. It might be to this day the only game I've ever completed, like all on an iPad. But so this is like the second one. I'm like, this is good.
It's effectively, I'm sure. I hope you did this in your hotel room with your wife right next to you, just going, "Can we go to dinner now?"
I forgot. Yeah, she's like, "Is there a way?
Could you not?"
I mean, if I was laying next to her on a bed in a hotel, I would A, not be playing video games, but B, would put headphones on, obviously.
Anyways, we'll just title this "Paul Discovers PC Gaming." Quite good, even though it's not a PC.
Gaming. Well, it's mobile gaming, right? Because it's not the same game that you like whatever the Call of Duties that have come out over the past several years. That's the same game, mobile or PC and console, right? I mean, the advantage on the PC would be keyboard and mouse control and then higher graphics, I guess. But this is different. It's not the graphics aren't as good as you see on the PC or the console, but they're good. Like these are nice. These are nice renditions of those maps. It's really. I'm looking forward to doing it again. Where's my iPad?
I'm actually going to do it right now. There was a fun little bug yesterday, thanks to Patch Tuesday, that if you couldn't access or use Outlook, the desktop client yesterday, it wasn't you. Actually, this was a patch gone astray, and effectively, if you opened email and tried to write anything, it just deleted it, which is probably a feature rather than a bug, I guess. They're just trying to get away from email. I don't know. It's fixed now.
So they're going to fix it, obviously, and it's only the desktop client. So if that's happening to you, what you're seeing is empty, like just blank emails, right? So just use the web client until they fix it. I think it's going to be pretty quick, but
or don't just ignore email.
Or just skip email. Who cares? It's email.
Yeah, I mean, it's email. Like it'll still be there whenever. I think that is fixed. I think they pushed an update late last night, but if your client hasn't updated, then it's not fixed yet for you. But download it, and it will be.
Yep.
Or don't. I mean.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
It does. It's just.
So use the web client and you'd be like, oh my God, why haven't I been using this all the time? It's awesome. Maybe,
Yeah, kind of true. So, here we are.
Yep.
Game over.
It's a good title.